Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Actions speak louder than words. That's what this case is about.
It's the actions of Chad Ryan DeSoto that will prove he was not psychotic or delusional at the time he unleashed a killing spree on 14 unsuspecting victims on February 12, 2013, according to lead prosecutor Phil Tydenko, not the words of DeSoto or the handful of defense witnesses who may have a bias in the case. Indeed, what DeSoto himself reports about his mental history and what his girlfriend, Rihanna Casio, says of her boyfriend's deteriorating condition may render a diagnosis of psychosis or schizophrenia, but Tydenko emphasized that's only assuming they were truthful.
They're both actors. Yes, they are. And remember the instruction on credibility of witnesses? Please look at that.
Tydenko also suggests that because DeSoto is such a good actor, he even had time to research his role when he was evaluated by psychiatrists months later. DeSoto was evaluated at least 4 times. The first time was by DOC psychologist Dr. Andrea Lighthouser, 2 days after the attack.
Close in time, within 2 days. She found no evidence of delusions, no evidence of hallucination, no psychosis. She thought his thoughts were logical and organized.
Next was court-appointed psychiatrist Dr. Michael Kim, who conducted his eval about 3 weeks later on March 7th. His findings were similar to Dr. Lighthouser, that he was depressed but not psychotic at the time. But with results that could destroy his insanity defense, Tydenko says the next 2 times he was evaluated, DeSoto suddenly was psychotic and schizophrenic. Paid by the DeSoto family, Dr. Martin Blinder conducted his evaluation in June 2013, and Dr. Karen Fukutake, rendering a second opinion for the court, performed hers in November of 2013.
It's curious, at least to me, because Dr. Fukutake's evaluation 9 months later, it gives birth, when you read to it, it gives birth to a whole new set of facts and stories and more symptoms. You can reasonably infer that the defendant, this actor, has had time. In fact, she even told you that he researched, good actors research their roles. The famous Dr. Martin Blinder, he testified that this was the most severe, profound depression or psychosis I've ever seen in my career. But he couldn't remember how much time he spent interviewing the defendant. And he diagnoses the defendant with depression with psychosis, and we learn the defendant's not on medication. But again, the assumptions that he based that on are that the defendant, Rihanna Casio, were completely truthful in the information they provided to others and the police.
So what was the motive? Tydenko says it's plain and simple. DeSoto was angry about his girlfriend dumping him. And this is a fact that Tydenko says Casio deliberately left out to protect her boyfriend.
She didn't tell you she dumped him the day before, night before, in an 8-hour Skype. That could have been a baby come back conversation. Her testimony is that it was 8 hours of strange talking and so forth. But we also learned that he was planning to join her, and she crushes his goals and his dreams by breaking up with him the night before. And so what does he tell her? You will forgive me for what I do tonight.
So DeSoto unleashed his fury on a grand stage, the tourist district of Tumon, but not just any area, the same area where scenes of the movie he starred in were shot.
It's not a mere coincidence. Center stage again.